So here we go. Good evening, everybody. We are live again. So happy 2022 to all of you. I hope it's going to be a great year for you all. I hope all your wishes come true, and I hope this is the year that we see the end of COVID. Yeah, it would be a good thing to get rid of, and then maybe we get back to normal. Well, we will see what happens. So, good evening to all of you. I wonder what's happening here. The statistics look really weird at the moment. Well, we'll see in a second. It sometimes takes a little bit of time to warm up. Well, anyway, we're going to continue with this article that was about how influencers affect the things that we eat on social media, and how showing us pictures of yummy things affects us and makes us want to eat high calorie foods. So, hi there, Count Beauty, great to see you. First stream of 2022, exactly, VG. It was great to see your Facebook, so now I actually know what you look like, and I can imagine you. I'm absolutely fine today, and we're going to continue with this thing. I have this feeling people are having difficulty getting into the stream. Okay, good evening, Abira, great to see you. What have I been up to? I've been answering lots of comments on YouTube because I've been away for a few days with my daughter, as you saw. So, good evening, Edward. Good morning. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year, Renyard, too. Wonderful to see you. And that's Aina. Sorry, I thought it was Abira. It's Aina. That's great. It's wonderful to have you all the way from Catalonia, Aina. Okay, so I think we're going to start straight into this now. Okay, so the previous paragraph, good evening, Paul. And while researchers can relatively easily isolate possible influences on social media to see how it affects our diets, there's much more going on in real life that these studies can't look at, Higgs said. And now we start for real. So, no, so she's doing fine, absolutely, but, well, she has her own life as well. Good evening, Mandy Khan. Great to have you with us. People are still celebrating the new year. Maybe they got a hangover. And okay, this is a good one as well. So, good evening, Olis. Well, I'm going to call you Olis. So, good evening to you, Neog. Great to have you with us. Okay, so let's start with this then. Some research shows that if we're scrolling through lots of photos, we start to tune them out. We start to feel something that feels like surfeit, satiety, sufficiency, satisfaction, and that's said by Solveig Argeseanu. Good evening, Vitali. Great to have you. Yes, I know it's late in India. So we've got surfeit from Vitali. We've got sufficiency from Count Beauty. And satisfaction from Oksana. Good. We've already got a differing set of opinions. This is really good. So for the first one in 2022, I'm going to get all of you. I'm certain of it. So good evening, Vuslak. Great to see you with us. Yeah. So let me just read it again. Some research shows that if we're scrolling through lots of photos, we start to tune them out. We start to feel something that feels like surfeit, satiety, sufficiency, satisfaction. Solveig Argeseanu. And Neog goes for satisfaction and Mandican for satisfaction. Okay, so let me start looking at some of these words then. And VG goes for satisfaction as well. Okay, so something that feels like satisfaction, but you could be satisfied by many things. Yeah, can't get no satisfaction. Ina goes for satiety. It's the first person to vote for that. Vuslat for satisfaction and Williams for sufficiency. So that feels like satisfaction. No, satisfaction is not the right word. Satiety is connected to food only in my vocab. But remember, we're talking about food. Yeah, if we're scrolling through lots of photos of food, because this is all about food, we start to tune them out. Yeah, and we start to feel something that feels like sufficiency. Not even. Good evening, Olena. Great to have you with us. And ooh, we get even more now. So Edward for sufficiency and Renyard for surfeit. A surfeit is just having more of something than you need. Okay, so let's see. Okay, satiety is like full of food, I guess. Yes, let's see. Ina, what's the verb that goes with satiety? Because you're the one that likes this. And Mandy Khan says satiety, enough or sufficient, but particularly of food. Saturation. Yes, but saturation of food. So, sufficiency. Yeah, but I've got we have a sufficiency of money. There's a sufficiency of workers. What's the verb from this word satiety? Good evening, Manji. Great to have you. To tune out is to not think about it, to not notice it. Notice, Oksana, there's actually a question at the end. I don't know if we'll get to it today with this one. Let's see, your radio, you tune in to the radio channel that you want. You fix in on it. Yeah? So you tune out. It's like you don't notice it. You're not sensitized to it. Good evening, Gabriel. Satiety. Okay, but what's the verb with satiety? To tune out, to ignore. Yeah, that's pretty good. So, and Ollis goes for satiety as well. So firstly, the verb to satiate. Yes, that's quite good, to satiate. Satiety is regarding food. Yeah, you're starting to look at it now. To satiate. Are you satiated? Yeah, my appetite has been satiated. Yeah, and I have to tell you, the right answer is satiety. To overeat. Okay, it's so. That feels like satiety. It feels like you're absolutely full of food. Satiety is the word. This is an unusual word and a good one to use in your essays. So well done, Ina. You were the one who went for that, and you very definitely got it. Well done. You should be very proud. Okay, so we're going to have another one coming soon. Yeah, so I always have this feeling of satiety. That's it, Manji. When after I've eaten, it's to quench. Yes, quench. You quench your thirst. You normally satiate your hunger. You could satiate your thirst as well. Okay. Yes, satiety. So let's continue. It's possible for some people in certain situations that social media could be the top tier, top priority, most obvious, predominant factor that influences their behavior. But it's only one factor. So, top tier factor, top priority factor, most obvious factor, predominant factor. Fulfill is most normally with actions. You fulfill an obligation. Yeah, you fulfill a responsibility. Yeah, to fulfill is slightly different. So satiety. Yeah, you don't want any more. Okay, so let's see. We've already had some answers here. So Predominant for Vitali, Count Beauty, for Gabriel, for Olena, for Oksana, for Buslat, for Valentine. Okay, this one's going to be, I think, a whitewash for all of you. Predominant for Valentine, for Manji, for Renyard. Okay. Most obvious reason, that post modifier. Okay. A predominant factor. A top tier factor. Top tier means the best quality. I don't know, Ronaldo's a top tier footballer. Edward goes for most obvious, and so does Mandikan as well. Could be the most obvious factor. I guess most obvious would fit, but it changes the meaning. Top priority is something that's really important. Here, predominant. Williams goes for predominant as well. The right answer here is predominant. Yeah, it's the factor that dominates, the factor that is more important than everything else. So I guess in the jungle, the predominant predator is the lion, for example. The Omicron variant is becoming the predominant type of virus that is around at the moment. It dominates everything else. It's more important than everything else. I feel validated. Yeah, that people have said that I'm right. I feel that people have agreed with me that this is the right answer. So I think Aina should feel validated for being the first one to go with satiety. Okay, so predominant, the most important. Yeah, I guess the humans are the predominant species in our world at the moment. Satiated, full up, yes, exactly. That's good, Gabriel. So it's the most obvious factor. Well, it could be the most obvious factor, but it doesn't mean it's the predominant one. Yeah, and here predominant one is the one that is has more strength than all of the others. Okay, so predominant is the one that there's most of. I'm trying to think. Yes, this company is predominant in this market. It's the number one. Yeah, it's the most important. It's the one that dominates over everything else. If you tune something out, you disregard it. But in the sentence that something brings satiety. So let's see. What it's saying, Oksana, is you disregard your let's see, before it was saying that we look at food and we think yum, 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 yum. We look at great pictures of fatty food. I think they called it oozing protein. And we go, that looks delicious, and we feel really hungry. But show us 20 or 30 pictures and that effect starts to tune out. Yeah, it's like we feel full up by looking at lots and lots of these pictures, and therefore it actually doesn't increase our appetite anymore. Okay, so let's see, VG for predominant as well. The amount of influence social media has on us also seesaws, yo-yos, swings, varies by individuals, says Melissa Atkinson, a lecturer in psychology at the University of Bath. So we got varies for Vitali, varies for Valentine. And don't forget to like the stream. Absolutely, VG. Count Beauty goes for seesaws. Aina goes for swings. Renyard goes for swings. Yummy. Yeah. And Manji goes for swings and is a predominant social media. That's a very good example, Ollis. Well done. Edward goes for varies. That's okay, Oksana. That's what we're here to do. Vuslat for varies. Mandikan for varies. Oksana for varies. Okay, so let's just look at some of these for a moment. To yo-yo is like this toy that goes up and down and up and down. And Renyard has changed his mind and gone for varies, and so has Elena. So if something yo-yos, it goes up and down very rapidly. To seesaw, a seesaw is this thing where you've got kids on one end and kids on the other, and they jump up and down. To seesaw means to go backwards and forwards. Okay, so to swing backwards and forwards could be as well. Good evening, Hussein. But the one that they used is vary, because a variation is talking about changes. Seesaws, yo-yos and swings are always talking about going up and down, whereas it varies from individual to individual. Yeah, the temperature seems to be yo-yoing, oscillates. So oscillates is more this idea of seesaws, yo-yos and swings. Hi, good evening, Ayush. Okay, and varies for Ishmael as well. Okay, I used to like seesaws as well. So the right answer here is varies. There is a variation, it's a small variation, whereas the others is talking about something like simple harmonic motion. Don't be a yo-yo. Okay, this is different. Don't be an idiot. Don't be crazy. Yeah, but then again, your mood is going up and down. This is like bipolar, Renyard. Yeah, his mood yo-yos. 1 minute he's really happy, and the next minute he's really depressed. Yeah, don't be a yo-yo. Yeah, okay, so let's try the next one. There is a lot of individual difference in terms, words, phrases, labels, denomination, of how we respond to social media images in terms, words, phrases, labels, denomination of our own biological and physiological and psychological processes, he says. So let's see. Yeah, Paul goes for varies as well. Yes, varies is good. Yo-yos is up and down, whereas variation is just talking about change. So let's see. Terms for Oksana, Vitali, moody. Yes. His mood yo-yos. Moody. Don't be a yo-yo. Don't be so moody. Terms for Count Beauty. VG goes for terms and then words. Edward for terms. Manji for terms. Valentine terms. And Gabriel for terms. Okay, this is a very common phrase, yeah? So, in words of how, no. In phrases of how, no. In labels of how, in denomination of how, no. In terms of, that's what Marek says, and Ishmael, and Hussein, and Olis. Yes, terms and terms, Mandy can, absolutely. Gabriel goes for terms as well. So this one I think was a very easy one. In terms of, terms for both of them. Terms for Aina, terms for Olena as well. And terms. Okay, so I'm going to put it on the next one. So we're talking about this in terms of, absolutely right, Renyard. Yeah, are we talking in terms of money, in terms of time, in terms of interest? And Williams has gone for terms as well, which is the right answer, as I said. Okay, so the next one. Some people have a higher reward response to food cues. So let's just have a look at the meaning of that to start with. Some people, when they see something yummy, their brain says, "Ooh, that's wonderful." And for some people this is stronger. Okay, yes, I quite agree with you, Renyard, but in this case they've repeated it because it's about the same thing. Okay, so some people have high reward response to food cues. For example, where the brain sends out pleasure signs, communications, waves, signals after seeing certain food, Atkinson says. These people are more likely to respond to food cues no matter where they see them. So let's see. A compendium, compendium. It's something which is a collection, a big collection of things, a compendium of different games. You've got chess, you've got drafts, you've got all sorts of different games together. So let's go. Signals for Oksana, Vitali, Valentin, Aina, Olena, Count Beauty, Gabriel, and Vuslat terms. Edward for signals, Mandikan for signals, Manji, Hussein, Vuslat. Okay, a cue. A cue is like a prompt. In the theatre, when somebody says something on the stage, you know this is your cue, the thing that tells you it's the time to say something, to prompt, to push. Okay, so signals for that's Manisco, for Marek, for Renyard. To grimace is like is where you have an upset face, because something hurts. A cue, a hint, exactly. Cues, triggers, that's a good one, Master, English Master, I like that. I've answered you, TL. You ought to try a bit of patience. Okay, so, pleasure communications, no way. A communication, this sounds like an official letter from the government. A sign is an indication, so the fact that I'm sweating is a sign that I'm hot. And signals for VG, and Olis goes for waves. I like the idea of pleasure waves. Oh, waves of pleasure. But no, it's pleasure signals. Our brain is sending something, or maybe our stomach is sending signals to our brain. A signal comes through. Okay, you're baffled at the moment when you're bored. Well, try the next one. And, this is coming up. It still hasn't shown. Okay, so, to grimace, to flinch. To grimace, let's see. If I hurt myself, I grimace. It's like the opposite of a happy smile. You grimace because you have to put up with something unpleasant. A grimace is a look on your face. It's much more than a frown. A grimace. He grimaced because he failed his exams. But even without decisive, definitive, ultimate, transparent answers, researchers are looking for ways to make social media influence our diet in positive ways. So it's signals, VG, not signs. Pleasure signals. Pleasure signs are a smile. And the signal to smile comes from my brain. Okay, so definitive for Vitali. Good evening vibes. Also for definitive. Juan for definitive. Hussein for definitive. Like wince, yes, but grimace is a very strong wince, Aina. Okay, definitive for Valentin Manji. Count goes for ultimate. Williams goes for definitive. Olena for definitive. Edward for transparent. Gabriel says definitive answers. So does Victor Gabriel. Grimace is like wince, but grimace is stronger. And Marek goes for definitive as well. So, transparent answers. Well, if the answer is transparent, it's clear to see, it's easy to see. Ultimate answers. The ultimate answer. Ultimate is the final one, the last one. Decisive talks about a person who is decisive makes decisions very quickly and very easily. The opposite, indecisive, is somebody who can't make their mind up. You need to be decisive and choose one thing or another, and then don't second guess yourself. So a decisive answer. Without decisive answers, clear answers, I guess decisive might work, but the one they used is definitive. Okay, if it's a definitive answer, it's the final answer, it's the one that defines it. Definitive is much better. It's alright, better late than never vibes, it's wonderful to have you. Decisive answers. I would use decisive much more for somebody making a decision. You need to be decisive. I guess decisive answers. I'm not very happy with it, but I just about accept it. Okay. So, shows up right away. A definitive answer. It's very good. A conclusive answer. That's very good, Hussein. So Tessitoir, for example, this is another researcher, has found a way to make healthier food seem more exciting on social media. She created 2 Twitter pages that were identical. They were exactly the same, disregarding, apart from, outside, other than, one detail. One had 23 followers, while the other had more than 400,000. So the 2 websites, the 2 Twitter pages are exactly the same, but one has just 23 and one has 400,000 followers. So let's see. Good evening, Mr. Longlegs. Okay. No problem, Mandy can. So Vitali goes for apart from, so does Oksana and Valentine. Yes, Paul, definitive for the previous one, definitely. Victor Gabriel apart from, and Manji apart from, and Count Beauty apart from, and Edward and Vibes and Renyard and Gabriel and Williams. Okay, this looks like it's going to be a landslide. Olena says apart from as well. Yo, Leferite, great to see you, my friend. So Mandy Can says apart from as well. Yes, but that doesn't matter because maybe they weren't actually Twitter real pages. They just looked like them. Maybe she showed them the page on a computer. Yeah, and I know you can't, but if you're doing research, you probably can. And also, the people don't know that, VG, because either they get to see one or the other. So, Manisco goes for apart from, so does Ollis. But for. Yes, but for would do very nicely, Oksana. Regarded, looked at, considered. He is regarded as the best player ever, thought of. Okay, now you've got the idea when I'm bored, apart from. And English Master goes from apart from. You outside and apart from, Juan. Okay, well, one of them's right and one of them's wrong. Sashin goes for outside. Tottering means between 2 things. The tree is tottering. It's about to fall. He's drunk. He looks like he's going to fall over. He's tottering. He's swaying from side to side. Marek goes for apart from as well. Okay, so the glass tottered on the edge of the table. It rocked backwards and forwards and then fell off. Here, regarded is like it is known as. That's a good definition, Aina. So they were identical, disregarding, not paying attention to one detail. I don't like it at all. Outside one detail. No. Other than one detail. If that was an N, that would do. Okay, so Vuslap for apart from, and so too does Leferite. To glint is like to shine. It's a little shine of something. Okay, new word, that's good. Excluding, that would work very nicely, Vibes. Okay, to totter. Yes, it's a great word. I'm not sure if I got a video or not, so totter. It's written down here. Okay, Well, you just need to choose the right word that goes in. Exactly. Other than. Than is the one. Absolutely right. Left or right. Okay. So we're going to go on to another one now. Okay, this is going quite nicely. Okay, so yes, apart from one detail, other than one detail, except for one detail. Okay, so both accounts published the same tweet about eating healthy food. She showed participants one of the two accounts, and when asked afterwards how plausible, likely, odds on, expected, acceptable they were to eat a salad, those who saw the account were with more followers were more inclined to want to eat a salad. Okay, so excluding is fine. Okay, and Valentine except for. Everything is on God. Well, God is responsible for everything. He has to decide everything. So, likely for Vitali, left or right, Hussein, Valentine, Oksana, Aina, VG, and Vibes, and Olena, and Count Beauty, and Gabriel. That's a lot of you answering this. Okay, so, and likely for Manji, likely for Edward. This was an easy one, very clearly for you. So, how expected they were. Normally you expect somebody to do something. Likely for Marek, I will trust the account with less followers. Yes, very definitely. That's a good thing. So, Marek for likely, Williams for likely. She fell with such a bump that she can see many stars in the heavens. Yeah, when you bang your head, you see stars, you're dizzy. Vuslat for likely, Mandikan, Renyard for likely. The responsibility is on you. Yes, that's perfectly good, VG. Olis for likely, and Juan goes for likely. How plausible. So, how plausible it would be that they would eat a salad. Yeah? If something's plausible, how... But normally a thing is plausible. This is a plausible story. Yeah? But not a person being plausible. Yeah? Okay, it's difficult. It doesn't work with plausible. Good evening, Emin. Great to have you. And likely for when I'm bored as well. Okay, so how acceptable a salad would be to them. How acceptable the idea of eating a salad would be. And then odds on, well, odds are talking about the probability. So if something is odds on, the probability is more than 50%. And the odds on favourite. No, I've never had a company try to sponsor me in my life. Yeah? The only thing are the advertisements in the that come with YouTube. Yeah, that might look a bit suspicious. Yes, I would prefer to be independent. Plausible. If something's plausible, it's believable. His story is plausible, but it's not true. So if it's plausible, you can believe it. Yeah, his explanation was plausible, but not the real one. So if something is odds on, it's more likely to happen than not. But an odds on favourite, how odds on they were. An odds on favourite. It's odds on that this will happen, but likely. Likely is definitely the right answer here. Likely. To be delusional, to be crazy, to be seeing things. Yeah? If you're delusional, you're deluded. You don't see the world as it is. You think it's different. So, possible, reasonable, plausible. Exactly, JD. Okay. And, well, no, we're going to have another one in a second, but let me have this too. Odds on. It would, but I wouldn't use it in this construction. I would say if it was odds on that they would eat a salad, This is triggering your gambling addiction. Well, you have to go down the turf accountant left or right. Okay, and odds on. Good. It's a good word. Long odds. Look at the word odds, Aina. So, this is because the more we assume, reason, glean, take someone has influence, the more likely we are to be influenced by them ourselves, Tessitoire says. So, Valentine says assume. I would say odds on is probably neutral, 5 in formality. Vitali for assume, Edward, Juan, Vibes, Count Beauty, Gabriel for assume, Leferite, or Lena for assume, Mr. Longlegs for assume, Renyard, Williams for assume as well. Credible. Credible is plausible. Absolutely. That works quite nicely. I think credible and plausible, same formality, probably 6 is the same. Manji, Ollis, Mandikan, Manisco, and Vuslat for assume as well. And when I'm bored goes for reason. The more we... So, this is an assumption. By the way, what's this word to glean? I really like this word. Yeah? Okay, I'm going to give you all the answer. Assume is definitely the correct answer. To assume something is true. Because in this case, they see 400,000 followers and they assume this person is very influential. Plausible would be better. Yeah. Plausible or credible. Yeah, I think they both work. The more. But the more we verb, the more I eat, the fuller I am. The more we assume, yes, I guess. But this is saying that to assume more. What's this verb? To glean. To collect from different places here and there. That's pretty good. So this is why celebrities are paid to promote the clot shot. Okay, glean, this is my question. So I like this Oksana's answer, to glean, to collect from different places here and there. Glean, to gather. Glean, says left or right. To glean actually means to go into the fields after the farmer has cut the crops, after the harvest, and pick up the grains of wheat or the things that the farmer has missed when he's finished harvesting. Yeah, and that is to glean. But nowadays we use to glean meaning to collect from here, from different places, to gather. Okay, and yes, to gather. Okay, good evening, lawyer. And let's see. One way a country's development can be measured is its infrastructure. Good evening, Landro. Okay, so the more we assume that someone has influence, the more likely we are to be influenced by them. That's very true, though. Well, that's something I know from YouTube. If a video has 1 million views, then everybody thinks it's good, but that's not the answer. To glean, when with information, would mean a tough job of researching and so on. Yes, but it's a tough job gleaning the seeds of grain from the field, and that's why. So, when findings don't reflect reality, where we're typically displayed, exhibited, shown, exposed to multiple streams of information, images and tweets, we'd still notice and process how many followers a Twitter account has, Tessitoire says. So it's likely to have the same effect. But you can't assume little. You either do it or not. I think, but so it depends how strong your assumption is. So let's see. Exposed for Vitali, for Leferite, Count, Juan, Valentine, Gabriel, Olena, Oksana. If something looks shabby, it looks tatty, broken, and old-fashioned. Glean the seeds after harvesting. That's the idea, Ollis. Okay, lawyer, what you've got to do is you've got to find the right word. You see 4 words in the brackets. You've got to choose the right word that fits, the one that was used in the original one. Expose. Okay, that's French, left or right. Exposed. An expose is something where people show something. Okay, so exposed for Renyard. Edward says exposed or displayed. Marek, Mr. Longlegs, Manisco, and Victor Gabriel exposed to. Very good, VG. That too is very important. Curate in terms of researching. Yes, it works very well, Vibes. That's a good answer. Exposed to for Vuslat. Mandikan exposed. Manji exposed. Shabby chic. The problem with me is I'm just shabby, yeah, as opposed to shabby chic. Okay, so this preposition to, this is the key to this. An expose is an exhibition, absolutely. Or maybe it's an article that gives a view into something. But notice, Aina, we're shown to multiple streams. No. Maybe the usher in the cinema shows us to our seat. No. Exposed to. Where we're typically displayed, well, I would probably say where multiple streams are typically displayed to us, where multiple streams are typically exhibited to us, where we're typically shown to multiple streams, but exposed to. So, Carbadel, displayed, it's exposed. Yes, that too is very important. You need to look at the prepositions. In English, the prepositions are everything. Yeah, these keep my throat well moist, which is a good thing. But at the moment, we're a long way from being able to shove, jab, butt, poke, nudge people towards healthier diets with posts about salad and steering people away from the powerful pictures of oozing protein. Okay, lovely to see you, Mr. Longlegs. So, here. Vitalian left right for nudge, jab for Hussein. Nudge for Count Beauty, nudge for Juan. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Valentine. Sometimes the originals are not very good. I quite agree with you, Valentine. So Elena goes for nudge, Manji for shove. Okay, Williams exposed to, absolutely. And are typically exposed to. Adjective with the dependent preposition to. Exactly, Mandikan. So Edward goes for shove, Oksana for nudge, Vibes for nudge. So what does shove mean? Gabriel goes for shove. Okay, so let's just look at these then. You are learning the right words, the best words to put in the place, lawyer. So which of these words is the original word? A shove is a bit harder than a push. Thank you, left or right. Now you're actually starting to look at it. Okay, to shove is a very hard push. Yeah? A jab is pretty hard as well. Yeah? Maybe in boxing a jab is a quick punch. A jab, an injection. Yeah? A butt, well, to headbutt. Yeah? Or a goat butts you. To poke with your finger. And then to nudge. So all of these, I think, are to push or to hit. But the weakest, the most gentle, is to nudge. You nudge the person next to you. Yeah, he nudged me. Yeah. Okay, so Marek for nudge. A nudge is a softer push. And the reason nudge is the answer is because nudge is the softest of all of these. N-U-D-G-E. To shove, to push very hard. Yes, okay, the original choices are absolutely fine. Yeah. Okay. To shove people towards. It's a bit violent. To jab. It's like you're hitting them, making them do this. To butt. Well, to headbutt them, or the goat's butting you in that direction. To poke. Yeah, you poke is quite hard. Normally, to poke somebody with a stick, to poke the fire. But to nudge. My friend nudged me and asked me if I could tell him the right answer. Soft like my beard. Woof. Okay, nudging is much more polite. Exactly. That's the point. Shove, jab, butt and poke. These are going to be pretty rude. Whereas nudge is much more polite, JD, and that's the idea. Good, Vuslat. Yeah, to nudge. To prod. Okay, I think prod is stronger than nudge, but weaker than poke. I think prod would actually work very nicely. So that's it, Ollis. The nudge is the right word. To nudge somebody, to push them gently in the right direction. Yeah? And that's why nudge is my favourite answer. To chivvy, to pester. Both chivvy and pester are stronger than nudge. To nudge, you just give somebody a little poke. Yeah? Chivvy and pester, this is much more continuous. Yeah? Whereas nudge is just, hey, what about doing this, please? So, we're fighting years of evolution here, says Panzer. There's a reason why we're evolved to look for calorie thick, calorie compressed, calorie crowded, calorie dense food in food scarce environments. But eating what feels good is misfiring. Now we now need to find ways to recalibrate this. To ooze, to come slowly out of something. My cut became infected and it started oozing pus. Liquid came out of it. There was water oozing out of the wall. Yeah? And that's the idea of to ooze. It's a liquid coming out of something. So, dense for Oksana, Vitali, Vibes, Count, Valentine, Hussein, Olena, Leferite, Ollis. Okay, Ollis, oozing, I've done that. Edward for dense, and Ina for dense. Good evening, George Washington. Happy New Year to you, my friend. Manji and Siddharth for dense as well. Good evening, Katia. Great to have you with us. And Manisco for dense as well. Calorie dense for Vuslat. Compressed. Okay, to compress means to push together. So yeah, I took the piece of paper and compressed it. Or maybe you're trying to get your things into your suitcase. You press them, you squash them as much as you can. Misfiring, not working properly, not working in the right way. Yeah, it's working, but not as it should. Packed. Yes, that's quite a good one. So, good evening, Samura. I'm doing fine. So, calorie dense, absolutely. D-E-N-S-E, that's it. Compress, like pack, exactly, Ina. Yeah, calorie dense. And Marek as well. Let's see, if you compress something, you put it. WinZip on your computer, or 7-zip, which is the one I use. It compresses the data in a file to make it smaller, to push together. Okay, so let's go for the next one. Calorie thick, calorie crowded, no, definitely calorie dense food. Okay, thick. I guess a soup could be thick, or the chocolate that I'm drinking is very thick. Provocation. If you provoke someone, that means you try and get them to react. Yeah? I tried to provoke him into a fight by insulting his mother. Okay, Ollis, exactly. Dense. Huh. Peanut butter. Very calorie dense. I love peanut butter. I actually have to say, I love peanut butter mixed with hoisin sauce. WinRAR, that's it. That's the one. WinRAR. I use 7-Zip, but they all do the same thing. Yes. Okay, so Panzer has found in his research that as soon as we profile, demystify, develop, disambiguate why seeing photos of burgers and chips feels good, the feel-good factor goes away. So, yes, we're starting to get the answers in. Okay, everybody's going for this. So, demystify for Vitali, for Oksana, for Valentin, for Juan, for Hussein, for Olena, for Count, for Fen, for Marek, for Mandikan. There are words I always spell wrong as well, Juan, so don't worry too much. Left, right, disambiguate. I hadn't thought about it. Left or right. I don't think it's the right answer, but I'm going to accept disambiguate. Yeah? Okay, because we look at them because they look delicious. But actually it's because we're programmed for them. I'm going to accept disambiguate, but it's not the answer I'm looking for. Okay, Edward goes for develop. Yes, but sometimes being different is a good thing. And Renyard for disambiguate. Reveal, yes, reveal is a good synonym for the right answer, Valentine. Demystified, it's something that's not a mystery. To explain. Yeah, if I am mystified, I don't understand. So my explanation demystifies it. Good evening, Vasu. Demystify for you. Demystify, unveil. That's good, Manisco. And Vuslat as well. I think there are lots of people, unfortunately, who feel good seeing photos of burgers. It depends what you like to eat is the problem, yeah? I feel good seeing a wonderful dish of Oriental food or things like this. And Aina for demystify as well. To profile. To profile is to talk about the characteristics of something. Yeah, what is the job profile? The job profile. What are the characteristics necessary? We develop why. To develop. To develop means to take further, to make more complicated. So demystify, absolutely. D-M-Y-S-T-I-F-Y. Okay, so yes, something that's ambiguous can be demystified as well. I quite agree with you, JDK. And demystify for VG as well. You're hungry now. Can you move on, Marek? Okay, so yeah, this is all of this article's a food cue. You're thinking about burgers and chips. Well, no, I don't fancy burgers and chips. There are a lot of things I'd rather eat before that. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Okay, so I hope I've demystified that one. Yeah, demystify is the correct answer, Mandican. Very definitely. Yeah, and I have posted it, so it will appear in the thing. Okay, so yeah. Now we've got another one. In other words, if we understand that we're biologically programmed to feel good when we see photos of burgers, perhaps we can become less weak, less prone, less objective, less partisan, less prejudice to being influenced by it. These articles all come from the BBC, yeah? BBC News. That's where they come from. And that's why I use them, because the writing's supposed to be quite good. Sometimes it's not, but well. So, prone 4, left or right, Vitali, Oksana. Vibe says prone 2. That 2's good vibes. Valentine prone. Ina prone 2. Exactly. 2. Ritam goes for prone. Count for prone. Edward for prone. Olena for prone. When I'm bored for prone. Samura. We're biologically programmed to feel good when we see photos. Yeah? Less prone to being influenced by it. Good. I like that as well. Prone to being. And prone for Williams, Vuslat, Marek, Juan, Renyard. Partisan. If you're partisan, you prefer one side. So the referee is biased. He's partisan. Yeah? So people are normally pretty partisan about the things from their country. I'm not normally very partisan about British things, except for maybe the language. Okay, so, yeah, be fair, don't be partisan. Prone to can be used in 2 different ways. Okay, yeah, if you're prone to do something, you're sensitive to it. Notice prone lying down. Prone to plus ing. Good thing to remember. Injury prone. Very good example, left or right. VG prone to. Gabriel proned. 10-2 works nicely here as well. Absolutely, Ina. Susceptible to. Good, Hussein. Vulnerable to. Exactly, bored. As well. Very definitely, Ina. Prone to is also an adjective with dependent preposition. Yes, Mandy Khan. Bipartisan. Okay, yeah, you like 2 sides. So, prone to. Well done, Mustafa. Okay, so I need to write prone here. Prone. Prone to, very definitely. We become less weak to. No. We become less weak. I can't use it. We become less objective. Well, I think we become less subjective about being influenced by it. Or maybe we become more objective. Yeah, we become more objective and less influenced by it. Partisan. Yeah, partisan means one-sided, supporting one side. Not fair. People who have leukemia are more prone to being affected by the virus. Very good example. A proclivity to. I think it's probably a proclivity for, Juan. But yes, that's fine. Prone to for Manji as well. And then we become less prejudiced. Yes, but not prejudiced to. Less prejudiced about wanting to eat them. A fighter, yes. Yeah, more respectful than a gorilla. But the partisan supports his country, Renyard. And that's the idea. Prone is like vulnerable. Exactly. That's a really good example. More objective, less partisan. That's good, JDK. I love it. Yeah, we've got lots and lots of really good words tonight. Yeah, okay, you're all doing great work. Okay, so, and we're going to have another one. Here it comes. In one study, he and his team asked participants to watch one of 2 videos. One with calorie light and one with calorie dense foods. Those who watched more calorie-dense food felt more positive, beneficial, worthwhile, constructive afterwards. Okay, this one I think is quite easy. Yeah? Okay. Prone is lying down on your stomach like a soldier as well. Yeah, the boxer was lying prone on the floor. Take the prone position, left or right. Yeah? Okay. Partisan, bias, that's good, Marek. That's a good synonym. So, Oksana goes for positive, and so does Vitali, Hussein, Ritam. Prone to do something. I've had an argument about this. Prone to do, prone to doing. You could use both, Gabriel. Personally, I would use more the ing, but he's prone to do this, but he's prone to get viruses, he's prone to getting viruses. Both. and positive for Count, for Ina, for Juan, for Leferite, for Renyard, for Olena, and yeah, felt more satisfied, more satiated as well. That would work, Valentine. Positive for Williams, for Gabriel, for Manji. Mandikan wonders about beneficial. Siddharth for positive, Vasu goes positive, Edward for positive, Vuslat for positive. So you don't feel beneficial. Something is beneficial for you. So good food is beneficial to health. Yeah? If you're constructive, you get good ideas. You're trying to help people. Yeah? Constructive ideas. Prejudice, bias, partisan mean the same thing. Absolutely, Williams. Okay, so let's see. Maybe I've got lots. Positive, Vuslat and Marek. VG goes for positive or beneficial. You don't feel beneficial. That's the problem. Prone to can be used in two different ways, as you made a video about that. I'm prone to cold. It just means I'm susceptible to cold. He's prone to asking a lot of questions. That's great, left or right. And we can say my area is prone to accident and storm. On the other hand, we can say to get in the prone position. So Ollis goes for positive. Good evening, Sherwin. Great to see you. Beneficial. No, you don't feel beneficial. Something is beneficial. Good food is beneficial. Exercise is beneficial. You're absolutely right, Samura, and thank you very much. Benefits. I think you're just being obstreperous, left or right. All would work, but only one fits the narrative. To feel more worthwhile. Yeah, you could feel more worthwhile. You could feel more constructive. I don't think a person feels... Well, maybe I feel beneficial to this project. I feel a positive thing. But positive is very definitely the answer. More unequivocal afterwards. P-O-S-I-T-I-V-E. Yeah, don't feel beneficial. That's great. It's great to have you. So, unfortunately, Sherwin, this is the very last one for today. And, yeah, we're going to do the last one. This is a good one because it's got at least 2 questions. Okay, it's wonderful to have you, Vitaly. Happy New Year to you. Okay, so one last one coming up, and then that's the end of today's stream. So, in the second part of the study, he told participants that their feelings weren't based in, by, from, on, with the food they were about to see. That one's easy. But on a low frequency mood boosting sound that was being played. One which wasn't marked, accountable, imputable, detectable to humans, while a second group had no influence. So, based on for Vitaly Obstreperous, yes. Mandikan based on, Count Beauty based on, and Gabriel based on. So based on, this one's very easy, yeah? And I'm just going to put the answer here. Based on. Okay, so something that wasn't... So, if something's imputable, it means you give the reason to it. So if the sound is imputable to humans, it means humans made it. Okay, based on, absolutely. So it's not imputable. Wasn't accountable to humans. Well, somebody's accountable. They're responsible. Wasn't marked. To mark, I normally mark a term paper. So let's see. Vitaly says detectable. Base on for Williams, Valentine on detectable, Hussein on accountable, Ina based on detectable, Ritam for on and detectable, Oksana, obstreperous, thank you Oksana, VG based on, Manji on and detectable, Count Beauty accountable. The boss is accountable, he's the person responsible. Yeah, if you're accountable for something, you have to take the responsibility. Based on for Marek, on the food, Based on the food, absolutely. Who was that? Samura. Olena, on and detectable, good. Count Beauty, detectable. Renyard, on and detectable. Manisco, on, wasn't, the rest. On, definitely. Juan, detectable. VG, detectable. Gabriel, detectable. Count Beauty, Okay, yes, it used to be Count Beauty, but he's changed it to Count. Marked. Okay, definitely. You're just being different, aren't you, left, right? Detectable to humans, exactly, Samura. Detectable by humans. I think by is probably a more common preposition, but it could be to as well. And I actually like what George Washington said here. Detectable by is a better one. Yeah. Where am I? And you just saw the video. So Marek, detectable. Edward, detectable. Absolutely. Sherwin, detectable. Vasu, detectable. And Williams, Mandican. If you all fell for detectable. It happens from time to time, Juan, but this time you're all right. Yeah, from time to time you all fall for the wrong one, but it's not common. On and detectable for Siddharth. Okay, I like it. Count Beauty, it's a great name. Yes, he is very attentive, isn't he, Olena? Okay, and imputable is to impute is to give the reason for something. And Vuslat for on and detectable. We're in injury time. Yeah, we're definitely in overtime. The bees are still alive and doing fine. I saw them 2 hours ago and they looked absolutely fine. It was noticeable by humans. Detectable by humans. Absolutely. Distinguishable to humans. Okay, so the last one. Detectable. Detectable. Okay, all of you, that's distinguishable. That would work as well, Siddharth. Okay, enough for today. It's been a great stream. Thank you very much. Happy 2022 to all of you. You're a wonderful group. Thank you all for coming. We've had a great stream. There's been a load of new vocabulary for you to all learn today. Let me put some X's here so I know where I've got to. So JDK, detectable, delectable. Delectable means delicious. Detectable or notice are similar in the way, yes. Detectable too. Okay, that's what led you to accountable. Detectable too is fine, yes. I prefer by though, it's nice. So thank you all for coming. Happy 2022. Well done. Stay safe. Look after yourselves. I love you all, and inshallah I will be back next week and we'll do exactly the same thing. I will leave the chat on for a few minutes so that you can chat amongst yourselves. Happy New Year to all of you. Stay safe and thank you all for coming. You've been a great